Hey, Edgeway family, thanks for joining us today. We have a special conversation. We were able to sit down with one of our long-standing missionaries to Albania, Amos Anderson. He was able to come in, sit down, spend a little bit of time with us, catch us up with what's going on with him and the family and where they're at and where they're headed. So I hope you enjoy this conversation. Hey, Hedgeway family, how are you guys doing? Good to be with you today. We get the honor and the privilege and any other great word I can think of right here, Amos, any other amazing word to describe this guy sitting beside me and his family. This is Amos Anderson. So many of you have heard us talk about the Andersons in Albania, Amos and Meredith and the kids. Now they're back in the States. And I've been doing Zoom calls with some of our missionaries, and I thought, why do I have to Zoom call you when you can come here? And so when he told me that we were going to get to meet and we were going to be able to do this, I thought we're doing a sit down together, almost 6 feet apart, little conversation,
Almost.
right? Almost. We have used hand sanitizer, washed up, everything else you can think of.
We sanitized into the interview.
Yeah, exactly. We scrubbed in, and now we're gonna do an interview real quick. We're gonna sit down and have a little conversation. Just wanted to bring you guys in and up to date on what's going on with the Andersons. So we'll just start like this, man. How are you guys doing, and how long have you been back?
Depends on the day. If you ask how we're doing.
Yeah.
No, I would say overall, all things considered, we're doing well.
Yeah.
We flew out of Albania on March 26th. And it was a crazy deal because we had 72 hours notice to pack up our life and get on an airplane. That was a Thursday. Little did we know the very next day the airport would shut down indefinitely.
That's what happened. I remember you guys reaching out and talking and saying that you had a really small window and that if you didn't get it done, then you very well may be there because you were planning. Y'all's plan was you were already in the process of getting back, but the timeline was not 72 hours, right?
Yeah, we thought we were going to have about 2 months. But
Yeah, sped it up just a little bit before
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit of speeding up. So, well, how's everybody adjusting? How are the kids? Some context to the conversation here. Me and Amos have been talking for a little while already. We've gotten to catch up, and but what I didn't ask you is how the kids are adjusting, because you share with me that just on Facebook, was that today or was that yesterday? Was that today that picture had popped up?
yesterday, yeah.
Yesterday they had a picture pop up of when y'all first went, right? Packing everything up, and the boys were how old?
3 and 8 months, I think.
And you only had 2.
Yeah.
And now y'all are up to 4, right?
Yeah, we've doubled.
But how are they adjusting? Because like what we were speaking about, y'all came back to the States, but for the kids, Albania had really become, that was their norm. That was their life. That was what they were familiar with. That was their home. So how are they doing, adjusting, coming this way?
Yeah, there's definitely been a big adjustment curve for the kids, and I'm very proud of them. We're very proud of them, how they're adjusting. There's ups and downs of missing friends. I think two of the hardest things for them in saying goodbye, we had to leave our dog behind.
I saw, yes, a black lab, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So Harley
is,
is
where's Don at when you need him? Like he would totally support a dog's name as Harley, because
Harley is greatly missed. But
Yeah.
and then just when we left, the country was in total lockdown, so we didn't really get to say the goodbyes. They didn't get to say goodbyes to their friends, to their school.
Right.
But I think there's new and fun things here, things that they're experiencing as kids and we're experiencing as parents watching our kids.
Yeah.
Things like being able to open a tap and not worry about whether your water's filtered or not, and you just drink.
Wow.
Things like going to Walmart and it feels like Disneyland in some ways. Just some of those new things.
What would be the closest thing to Walmart? Like what would the shopping experience in Albania be like for a kid compared to here? Like, is there even anything that remotely crosses over? Like, would you take them somewhere that they would go in and they would see things like toys or things that interest them? Maybe it's games, things like that. Was there was that
Yeah.
there?
In the capital there was, so you remember we lived in the South our first 4 years, and then we moved to the capital in 2017. So we were pretty close to a big mall there, but there's a big grocery store, a big toy store, similar like a Toys R Us.
Yeah.
But yeah, the amount of junk food that's available here is pretty amazing.
Well, I'm sure they are adjusting without a problem with that a little bit. But what do you think? I don't know, man. I guess having kids, it always interests me. What do you think they're like number one? If I was going to sit them down, and I know they vary in ages. So where are we at now with the oldest to the youngest? What's the gap
So Gabe is our youngest. He'll be 5 in July. He'll be in kindergarten in the fall.
there?
And then Isaiah's going to be 12 in August. He'll be going into junior high, 7th grade.
Wow. Man, that's a good range of age there. What do you think if I was to set them down, and that you don't have to give one per child, but maybe like an overall, what's their favorite thing you think they would say, like, this is the best part about being here in the U.S., like being back in Russellville area? Like, do you think they have anything yet, or is it just so fresh that it would be really hard for them to put their finger on something?
That's a really good question.
That's not in my notes.
And
That's not in my notes.
It might change month to month.
Yeah.
But I think 2 things. One of the things that the kids have said a couple times, this is the first time when we came back, we've bought a house. We bought a house in Russellville, and one of the kids, in fact, a couple of them said it, hey, Dad, guess what? We'll be pulling into the driveway. We're home. And he's like, and all of our previous houses that we lived in Albania, we would always refer to it as the landlord's home. So we're in Tahir and Shpressa's home. We're in Leko's home. We're in whatever Albanian landlord we had.
Yeah.
And he just looked at me and said, but this is our home.
Wow.
We're at our home.
Yeah.
So, we'll have all the joys of home ownership and all that brings too, but
Sure.
it's cool for them to go, this is now ours.
This is ours. Yeah, there's that
somebody
ownership
else's.
and that.
And I think the second thing, and a big blessing, is just being closer to family.
Yeah. Yeah.
Getting to spend time with grandparents and be loved on instead of just parachuting in and back out for a couple years.
Right.
That makes our hearts happy and theirs as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you were on the field 10 years, right? You were in Albania.
We left August 2011. So this August would have been 9 years. So yeah, almost 10 years.
Almost 10 years of mission work. I remember in the very beginning, like you were saying, you guys were in the South. Man, some of the photos and stuff from the winters there. Oh my goodness, man! Like, that was crazy. I can't fathom that.
Yeah, let's not talk about that too much. That way you don't have to cry on camera. Okay?
Well, we can lighten it back up. That's not a problem with me. So we talked about the kids. So, you referred to being around grandparents, family, letting them see them, and really being able to interact. And like you said, it's not one of them things where it's like, we have this amount of time, and we've got to check off ABC 1, 2, 3. See you guys, like we were talking about, make it to all these different churches in these different regions, and make sure that we're checking in and doing everything that we need to do on our end. So now y'all are able to sit down and really just enjoy some time with grandparents and family and all that. But so is that the best part that you've experienced so far, you guys being back, and you and Meredith as not just mom and dad, but as a couple?
When first couple times we got together with family, and we haven't seen all family yet. My wife's family is here, Meredith's family.
Yeah.
Mine is up in the Midwest, and we'll connect with them soon.
Yeah.
But I remember feeling this urge to take out my phone and capture the moment so that I had it in picture.
Yeah.
And then I caught myself and said, I don't need to do that.
You don't have to now, do you?
Because we're here now.
Yeah.
And it was kind of this just surreal moment of adjusting expectations to okay, we're here, and
Yeah.
this is where we're going to be now. And there is a refreshment in that.
Not having to live photo to photo, huh? That's amazing. Haven't even thought about that. Haven't even thought about that.
I hadn't either until we experienced it in the last couple of months.
That's amazing. I know we were talking and you were trying to explain to me kind of what it's been like, because this wasn't the desired goal. This wasn't really the outcome. This wasn't the path that y'all were tracking, was to be back at this time. This is what has revealed itself, and this is the way that you guys have had to go. This was with God's blessing and with the blessing of everybody that is within your really close sphere of influence, your circle, the people that you trust, people that you seek counsel from, and all those things. So, but with that being said, y'all getting back. I know you said that we were joking about it, like you felt like you've had some out of body moments, like wait a second, where am I at again? And all these things that have taken place, have been really insane. It's really been pretty crazy. So as far as the transitioning back, you guys coming off the mission field, I would like to share that as we were talking earlier, I told him, I said I was talking to somebody that's been on the mission field, that's on the mission field, and we were speaking about Amos and Meredith coming back, and just some of the things that surround you coming back and being back in the States and coming back, quote unquote, home. And this individual brought a perspective to me that I've never had. And I want to share this because I want you guys to be praying for the Andersons in this way. As they transition back in, as you guys come back in, like we were talking about, a lot of legwork goes into preparing you to go out and preparing you for the mission and preparing you for, the legitimate hardships that it'll be to go into another country that you're not from and try to minister the gospel effectively. And you prepare yourself for that, but that coming back home, as I've always just thought it would be an easy transition. You just roll back into the States, like you have so many more things at your disposal. All these things that you were missing, now you have it again. Like it would just have to be better. But the reality of it is that was your reality, and y'all chose to be there. You were on mission. You were there with a purpose and a vision, and coming back, the transition, as this individual shared with me, and he said, hey, you need to be in prayer for them because the transition back isn't always as easy as what you would think. And that really resonated with my heart and with my spirit. And I want to encourage people out there to be praying for you guys as you come back, because as you transition back in, you're going, like you said, you're changing career paths for right now. So what are you going into? I was going to let you tell folks kind of the direction that, what's next for the Andersons. Where are you guys kind of heading?
Yeah. So right now I am pursuing a career path in education. So going through a non-traditional licensure program and just seeing what opportunities God's going to put in my path, trusting Him in those details. So I'll be starting that this summer, going through that this next school year, and then next summer in another full school year. So yeah, prayers appreciated with that. And you're right. The preparation to go, we got appointed with World Venture in 2009. We didn't land in Albania till 2011, and there was probably 27 months or so of support raising and selling a house and selling vehicles and all of the training and preparation. And after 9 years of that, on 72 hours notice, you come back. You have no vehicles, no house, a few things in storage, and no job.
Back at it. I apologize about the throat issue. So where were we at? You guys are back 10 years. You were gone for 10 years in transition, and you were talking about the length of time that was put into preparation.
Yeah, and when you come back, I think you sort of say, well, we're going home and life picks back up, but the reality is life has changed, culture has changed, people have changed jobs, families have changed. I was in a revenue office this morning, and there was a young lady standing next to me with her mom, and I said, wait a minute, I remember her, but she was like 5 years old, and she's getting her license today. And so having experiences like that just makes you realize time really has gone by. Things have moved on. And so there's a lot of relearning that kind of needs to take place, and you feel a little bit off balance.
Yeah.
But
Those outer body experiences, right?
it has happened a time or two, and I'm sure it will continue happening in the months ahead here.
Well, how's Meredith doing? How's things going for her as you guys come back? I know as being the mother of the household, I know how important moms are. I know in relationships how important wives are for husbands, and then how they build you up, and really how they're that glue that holds us together at times. They're that sound voice of reason for us at times, and all those things that they do behind the scenes that sometimes don't get appreciated publicly or mentioned publicly, not because of our shortcomings, just because it's what they do every day. They're not looking for praise. It's just what they do. So how's life been for her as you guys get back?
I'm really proud of her.
Yeah.
It's not easy to try to hold things together as your kids are transitioning and have so many ups and downs. We're proud of our kids as well, but yeah, we would not have made it through and wouldn't be making it through this transition without her.
Yeah.
So, it's a journey for all of us and for her, and it's another opportunity for us to grow in our faith. We were visiting about the series you were having about Pray It Forward and talking about Abraham.
Yeah.
And, I think when I've read that and reread that at times, it sinks in more and more that Abraham didn't come to this crisis point and choose faith and then it was there for the rest of his life.
Right.
Is like at different points in time, it hit him in different ways that maybe he felt like, I got to trust God even more than I had to back then. How is this going to work?
Right.
And, we've had that experience several times in Albania and now looking at coming back and being back. So God's character doesn't change. We just realize our humanity and our weakness in the midst of it, and hopefully give him the opportunity to be glorified as we boast in what he does when we look at situations and we go, I don't know.
I don't know, right? Absolutely. How's her? She battled mono there for a while, right? And I know she had a few different bouts with that, and so all that, is that cleared up? Like, is she doing better?
Yeah, no, that's in the rear view mirror now, if I could say it that way. But yeah, the struggles with health, whether it's been her, me, one of the kids, we have had our ups and downs with that. And I think as we look to this next season, living in the U.S., as we know right now, doesn't matter where you live in the world, you're going to be touched by the fall and disease, sickness, being worn out, etc. But I think one of our hopes is that we can find a bit of reprieve from some of that being back here in our home culture.
We were speaking earlier about our kids and stuff, and I was sharing with him about one of my kids' latest injuries and stitches and this, that, and the other. And so then we just start talking all these different things about, my kid got up and tried to walk and tripped on a pencil and just random stuff that kids do. And which one was it you told me? It was
Gabe's broken arm.
Yeah. So he's telling me about Gabe breaking his arm over there in Albania, and they do this surgery and put pins in the poor guy's arm. He's like a year and a half old, right? Is that what he's telling me?
I think he's approaching 2.
Yeah, he's a small little guy, and talking about having to deal with different things there and how medicine is practiced there and everything else. Man, I just like, those 3 stitches, they don't really seem so major to me anymore. You put some things in perspective for me, and I appreciate that, Amos. I appreciate
Glad to
help. Tell Gabe, tell him, hey man, I appreciate you breaking that arm. Really helped me grasp some good perspective. But well, here's how I want to close it out. And I already expressed to you guys about how we can be praying for you guys as you transition back, and what those life changes looks like, and the kids transitioning back, and then career path changes right now, and that the proper doors would be opened, and that you would be able to go and succeed in whatever it is that you lay your hand to do. But I mean, what other tangible ways? What are some ways that if you could give us some areas in which we could pray for you guys, and not just pray for you, but pray. We were speaking about what's going on in Albania, and I want to make sure that we make this evidently clear. And help me if I gloss over this, because I don't want to miss it. Just because y'all are no longer in Albania doesn't mean that you no longer want to help minister in Albania. And that relationship, as you guys know, we're partnered with Tony and Ida, the Lapucci family. And, Amos and Meredith were there with them. They were boots on the ground. They were arm in arm working on Impact Tirana. And where it was just getting birthed, they leave, which was a hit for Tony and Ida as leadership and, as the growth of the church. And we were talking about that. COVID hit, which is also very difficult for a church, no matter where you're at, but stick yourself in Albania, where church is already super marginal and very minimal, and then you have to put constraints on how you're meeting, and it's a new church. It's like we were talking about, it's in its infancy stage. So we're continually praying for that, and you guys, I know, are still invested and involved there with that relationship. So I want to make sure that they understand that just because you guys are back here and you're going to be pursuing a job and teaching and some things like that, that does not mean that y'all have hung your hat up for Albania and for God's work there and for winning Albanians to Christ, because that was always, as they would come and speak and as we would speak on Skype. I mean, the last few times I've talked to this guy, it's been through a computer screen. And like he said, it's always like 10 o'clock at night for him and like 2 o'clock or something random here for us. And, we got earphones in and kids running around. And now I get to sit down and look at you face to face. And I told him he looks a lot younger in person. That camera just really, you look so much younger. Still waiting for that beard to come back, but
It's coming.
It's coming back? Yeah? Okay, that's good. But we want to make sure that we're still investing with you guys in prayer in the direction of Impact Tirana, like we need to, and then in y'all's lives for your family.
Yeah, in terms of praying with us and future investment, as you said, we are still 100% on board with seeing the gospel go forward in Albania. And, if you're saying, what can we be doing? I would say keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Tony and Ida are doing great work there. God is moving there, and there's lots of work left to be done there. And so, we left a piece of ourselves behind in Albania.
Yeah.
And there's a piece of us that, in some weird way, is Albanian now because of having lived there for a decade.
Absolutely.
So, we look forward to walking through partnership together in these coming months and years and seeing what God does. Looking forward to seeing what the Spirit of God is going to do in an area of the world that has a lot of darkness, but yet the darkness has not overcome the light, as John says.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you guys taking time to join us today, joining in a little conversation with Amos and the Andersons, being back in the States. And this won't be the last time we see him. This won't be well, thanks for that, and then we'll see you down the road. We were talking about it earlier, man. They're going to be in with us some, and they're close now. They're accessible. He already messed up and said, if there's something they can do. So now I'm going to have a long list. I'm going to go to work on that right when we get done, when he gets out. There's all kinds of things already going through my mind. Yeah. So anyways, hey, we love the Andersons, and we love you guys, and I hope that this encourages you with our conversation. It always enlightens me. It always challenges me, and it always gives me perspective. And so I appreciate that a whole lot. So thanks for taking time to be with us today.
Thank you guys for everything. You guys are amazing partners in the gospel. You have some awesome folks in this church, and that is for sure. And we have been on the receiving end of that, and it's just been a channel of God's goodness. So we want to extend our thanks as well.
Hey, thank you guys for joining us today as we were able to catch up with the Andersons from Albania and see what's going on with their life, what it's like as they transition back in, and how we can continue to partner with them, and pray with them, and really stand with them as they go through this transition. Want to remind you, you can join us on Sunday at 9:30 or 11. We have 2 services available. If you have questions about what service looks like or what measures we're taking to ensure the safety of all those that come in, from our staffing to those that are coming in to be in service with us, please drop us a message. Hit us up on Facebook Messenger. You can email us at hedgewaychurch.com. You can text us. Our numbers are on the website. We would love to speak with you about the measures that we're taking, the guidelines that we have in place. But if you don't feel comfortable coming in, remember, you can still join us online. Both services are live streamed every Sunday. We love you guys. We hope that you have a great week. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.